understand poetry is something completely different than actually performing it, because I feel like no other coaches know poetry like my mother does. Yeah, so we need to record this.
Yeah.
Just making sure it's okay.
Alright. I understand what you said about poetry. That it's the stuff you think of when you don't have a pen, paper, or any way of recording it. That it sidesteps capture as animals flee fight. And I know that Homo sapien means man who thinks, and that there have been no significant anatomical changes in this thinking man for 30,000 years. I understand that I am no better than him. But what I want to know is this. Why did it take 25,000 years to invent writing? What did we think about for all that time with no pen, no papyrus, no sharpened reed to dip in a mixture of soot and glue? Would not what came to us, what went through our minds, would it not all have been, by your own definition, poetry? What would you do if you could write a poem that would change the world? Imagine peering into another person's soul strictly for the power of the written word. The authors of these poems relinquish their ideas from the very depths of the soul in hopes to change the world. One poem at a time. A poetry program consisting of Paleolithic poets and Like Lily, Like Wilson by Taylor Mawley, and Somewhere There's a Poem by Gina Lauren. I'm writing the poem that will change the world, and it's Lily Wilson at my office door. Lily Wilson, the recovering like addict. The worst I have ever seen. So, like, bad, that the entire 8th grade began to call her Like Lily, Like Wilson. Like, until I declared my classroom a like-free zone. And she could not speak for days. But when she finally did, it was to say, "But Mr. Mawley, this is so hard. Because now I have to actually think before I say anything." Well, imagine that, Lily. But it is for your own good, even if you don't like it. And so, I'm writing a poem that will change the world, and it's Lily Wilson at my office door. Lily's writing a research paper for me about how homosexuals, shouldn't be allowed to adopt children. And so I think that I am writing the poem that will change the world. And in walks Like Lily, Like Wilson through my office door. She is having trouble with her paper. She is having trouble finding sources for her paper, which is to say, ones that back her up. Well, they all seem to argue in favor of what I thought I was against. And it took 4 years of college, 3 years of graduate school, and every incidental teaching experience that I have ever had to manage only. Well, that's a very interesting problem, Lily, but what do you propose to do about it? That's what I want to know. And the 8th grade mind is a beautiful thing. And like a newborn baby's face, you can often see it change before your very eyes. I can't believe I'm saying this, Mr. Mawley, but I think I'd like to switch sides. And I want to tell her to do more than just believe it, but to enjoy it. That changing your mind is one of the best ways of reminding yourself whether or not you still have one. Or even that minds are like parachutes. That it does not matter so much what you pack them with, so long as they open at the right time. Oh God, Lily, I want to say, you make me feel like a teacher. And who could ever ask to feel more than that? And I want to say all of this, but manage only. Lily, I am, so impressed with you. And so I finally taught someone something, namely how to change their mind, and learned in the process that if I ever change the world, it's going to be one 8th grader at a time. Somewhere there is a poem, and I want to write this poem. I want to speak this poem. I want to feel this poem. Cradle it in my arms, feed it a good meal, and send it on its merry way. I want to sing this poem. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Somewhere there's a poem screaming, get up, stand up for your rights, human beings being so caught up in the tangible material surface, or that they never actually feel their touch is liquid and grazes right through but misses the core. This poem whispers to me and rocks me to sleep and tells me stories of indigenous people diseased and tricked and slaughtered and made to be extinct. But this ain't no pterodactyl or Tyrannosaurus Rex blood flowing through my veins. I am a Creek American Indian. I exist. I am an African. I am an old Jewish woman muttering prayers in Yiddish as my name is replaced with a number on my arm. I am a little Japanese girl staring in horror as my village is bombed and burned to the ground. I was born in India, but not to the right caste, so regardless of what I accomplish, I will always be a peasant. I died in Mexico 3 feet from the border, gunned down by evil troops who shoot for a living, who sacrifice their souls for the man-made boundaries of these Americas. Somewhere, there's a poem somewhere. Flying high on the 405 and taking the L to Brooklyn and the 15 to Vegas and cruising down a dark street in Oakland is a poem. And this poem comes from somewhere deep, somewhere where the angels sleep, where pixies dance and mermaids weep, where hymns are hung. So God will keep us all in mind on Judgment Day. This poem warns but does not sway, for what you do is up to you, where you go and who you know, if you close up or if you grow. Somewhere there is a poem about the insanity of war. Hiroshima, Hiroshima, hero, hero, war, hero, 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 heroin is crack cocaine, is the systematic genocide of my people. Brown skin behind bars, locked up behind bars, and trapped behind bars, and slaves behind bars, kept in line behind bars, counted behind bars, bars, there are more bars. Selling alcohol on a single reservation in Oklahoma, then in all of Ventura County, counting me in, because I am down for the revolution, which may not be televised and may not get radio play, but will be told through poetry, because somewhere there is a poem. And this poem speaks to me and draws me in like an amusement park to a kid. I want to freak this poem and dream this poem and share it with y'all. Hold up. I just did.